You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
It's time for the DragonCon Report, your go-to show for both newbies and seasoned pros gearing up for the annual Downtown Atlanta Convention, with interviews, expert advice, and all the latest updates straight from the dragon's mouth and fans themselves. Stay tuned, you might just uncover something unexpected. Howdy, folks! Welcome to the 2025 DragonCon Report. It is time for episode number 5. My name is Little Bit. Usually you'd be seeing Mr. Mike Gordon right here in this spot, but he's running a little bit late today, so hopefully he'll make it here soon. But I am going to introduce you to our other station crew that we have with us this evening. And let's say hello to Channing Sherman.
Iron Man is back. Every show this season. Every show. That's right. I'm the Cal Ripken of the DragonCon Report.
Yes, that's right, folks. I unfortunately have had to miss a few episodes being here. I'm on the mend. I had surgery. Hopefully it's not going to affect me at con this year. But
we are very happy to have you back.
It's already affecting my costume plans, but I'm still going to be at con. But we're so glad to have all of you joining us here. And I don't have Mike Gordon's full spiel, but I will let you know some of the intro stuff that I am aware of. The DragonCon Report is not affiliated with DragonCon. We are not an official con show. We are not on staff, but we are attendees who love the con, and occasionally we get to be guests, like both me and Channing are official guests this year. So that's exciting. We do want you to please rate and subscribe to the DragonCon Report wherever fine podcasts are found, as well as subscribing to our YouTube channel, which some of you out there are watching us from this evening. If you have any kind of questions about the show, you can post or the con, you can post them in our chat while we're on here live. We'll answer, maybe even feature your questions on the show. You can comment to anything you hear us saying. We always love hearing from our listeners. As a reminder, DragonCon dates are August 28th through September 1st, 2025. Right now, the 5-day memberships are $160. Eternal memberships, or of course, are $4,500. When I win the lottery, I'm gonna get one.
It's the perfect gift for the nerd in your life.
Yeah. The next rate increase for the 5-day memberships will be going up on June 13th. We're not sure what that price is going to be. If we're going by what we usually see, it's probably going to be $20 to $25. You think?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. Once you get that next part.
Oh, okay. So guests and attending pro applications are still open. You have until May 31st to get those in. All the other applications are closed. Again, if there's somebody you want to see, shoot your shot, send them the link. I was at Blurred Fest over the weekend, saw some independent comic book creators with some cool work. I slipped them some info on DragonCon just to try to convince them to come. So, you know, you don't just need to look for the big Marvel stars. Sometimes your smaller professionals are as welcome as anybody else. Also, the call list for the Subspace Rhapsody Picture Show has been announced. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page to find out who you're going to be seeing and hearing when the show premieres.
I just want to jump in and say, I don't think all applications are closed. I think the media applications are still open. They're open till August 15th.
Okay. But as far as performers, those are closed.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just have guest and attending pro and media. Those are open. Thank you.
Yeah. And let's jump back into my notes. Don't forget that pretty much spots for volunteers are always open. There's always lots of opportunities to help out in all the various departments and tracks, and you can find that more information about that by going to dragoncon.org and looking under the Participate tab for important dates and more. So we want to say a big thank you to those of our Patreon subscribers. You not only get early access to the audio version of our episodes, that's where you get to hear us hopefully not butcher too bad the names of the recently announced guests. We always record that right after we're done here live. So I haven't even looked through the list, so I don't even know what kind of difficulty lies ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say last month was rough. Like if you really need a reason to drink, sign up for the Patreon and listen to just Mike and I reading last month's guest list. It was a battle, and I think words won in that battle. I don't know if you've heard, but they have announced the artist, the guest of honor. Science fiction, robots, space, high fantasy, mythology. I'm already going to apologize for possibly messing up this name. Donato Giancarlo? Normally you're good at correcting me.
Yeah, my dog's barking, so I was muted.
Oh no. This is going to be an off the rails show. I can see already.
Yeah, I would think Giancarlo.
Giancarlo, okay. Science fiction, robot, space, high fantasy, mythology, history. The DragonCon 2025 Artist of Honor truly knows no limits when it comes to visual artistry. So again, it's nice to see that they're kind of rolling out these guest announcements and people who are going to be honored for their creativity and things they do on screen, off screen, in print media, the whole nine. So welcome.
And speaking of guest announcements, we're hitting that time of the year where we see more and more posts on the various platforms about people wondering where all the big names are. Don't you just want to remind you folks, this is like this every year. It's not new. You typically want to save the big guns until we get closer to con, because you never know when a schedule conflict is going to pop up, or somebody gets a new role and they need to drop out. So it's best to make sure that people really have their schedules open, because no con wants to, announce somebody big and then let people down when they have to cancel, because, that happens a lot of other events. And I see somebody in the green room. There he is.
Hey. So who's this guest? Mike? Is that how you pronounce it? Me?
Hody.
Howdy. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. We went through your spiel.
Yes.
And
wow.
we are about to take our little break here and then get to the main topic and bring out our guest. But I wanted to make sure to get you on camera before we did that.
I appreciate that. Sorry, folks. I haven't been feling well today, so yeah.
Oh, no.
They got the best of me.
Oh, now it's your turn.
Don't even.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick break out there just for our audio listeners, video listeners. This is what you get to see us be funny and quiet on camera. And we'll be right back to bring out our guest and talk about night fights with the Palmetto Knights at DragonCon. Do you want to bring it back in, Mike? Or you want me to do it?
I can. All right. I will do that. Then I guess in 3, 2. Howdy, everyone, and welcome back. And we are here with Laurence. Laurence from the Palmetto Knights is joining us. Welcome, sir.
Hello, how are you guys?
All right. We're very excited to have you guys with us. And tell us a little bit about, I guess, the Palmetto Knights, first and foremost, for those people who don't know who you are.
So the Palmetto Knights is a nonprofit international sports team that competes around the world in a combat sport that was brought back into the modern era in the 90s. It didn't come to the USA until 2010. But we compete in full suits of armor with steel weapons that are blunted, and it's non-choreographed. It's an actual competition. Like, we actually are in process of being recognized by the Olympics and things like that.
Wow.
But it's a full contact. Everything goes. We have a couple different categories. We can get into that later. But they have different rule sets for how rough or the tumble they get. The Palmetto Knights, interesting enough, is mostly a South Carolina, a little bit of Georgia, a little bit of North Carolina area localized club. We didn't have a team name till when we were at Dragon Con doing the parade there, and we had to figure out like what are you guys? We're like we're the Knights. So, we didn't really have a word, and we figured out we had to actually get a brand and a label and all that stuff. And that was like back in 2012, I think, was when we did a parade at Dragon Con, and we did a fan table. And then after that, the year after that, we got straight into actually doing events at Dragon Con. And we've been doing it since. But like the summer, for example, we're a good portion of us are going to Visegrad in Hungary to beat the heck out of people from all over the world. We'll actually probably get our butts kicked around the world.
Living the dream. Yeah. So I gotta start just by asking. This doesn't seem like a sport you can just walk into and say, "Hey, I want to do this." How does one get started in medieval combat fighting?
So it's it's kind of an interesting thing. So basically, almost all of us are nerds at heart. Like, there's vendors who actually sell a big pole axe, a big axe, and it says +1 to damage, +3 to this, like on the vendor thing, so they get all into that concept. But most of us all were little kids who wanted to swing a sword at something and picked up a stick, swung it at something, etc. So then we randomly find those people, and preferably find them when they're younger and not old. Not when we have gray beards. We find them when they're younger, and they show an interest. You basically say, "Hey, I think this looks cool. I want to do this." We link you up with the closest club to you, and that club will get you training and maybe have a day where they can let you borrow armor. We don't let people compete in borrowed armor very much because armor needs to fit you, and we're not playing nice. We're playing to win. So your armor needs to work. So we're really hesitant on loaning armor, but we loan armor in practices because people aren't going full bore. You just you can contact the Palmetto Knights. We're on every social media thing, and we will link you to the most local closest club training group, and that's around the world. We got people everywhere. So,
but to participate in it at Dragon Con, you need to be a part of an established club, like Mike or Jen or I can't just walk up on the day of combat and say we're in.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
For example, yes. We actually have on the bohertinternational.com, you actually can register to compete there, but you'd have to be a recognized member of the organization. Mm-hmm. And then you can also contact Palmetto Knights. We have a sign up thing, and we got medical check, where you from, a whole set of things. No strangers are showing up to fight, kind of thing. But it is possible somebody could walk up and be like, "Hey, could I try on the armor?" And if we have time, we would actually let you check out the armor and things like that. Probably not on Saturday, but on Friday or Sunday, that could happen.
Yeah.
So. How long have you guys been associated with Dragon Con?
2012 or 2013 was when we worked a fan table there. And then 2013, 2014 is when we were working with the Armory, and we were doing a panel at the Armory. We were doing panels with the Armory, and we had a little small fight show. And then the year after that, we got a bigger fight show, and now we're in the Cortland Grand. And we have the Grand Ballroom all day Saturday. Like, we're there till the concert or whatever comes on afterwards.
Which is just wild. So you talked about, you talked about the armor and the shield. I'm just thinking just the armor alone. How much weight is the average person walking around wearing while they're trying to beat another person into submission?
Around 60 to 80 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the average.
Mhm.
We have some high performance folks who are getting down to like 45 pounds. Also, of course, the size of the person matters.
Yeah.
Christine, which her nickname and people sometimes chant it at the event at DragonCon is Rage Squirrel. She's 5'3", 120 pounds. Her suit of armor, it's easy for her to hit 45 pounds. But the 6'2", 250-pound dude, he's not. He can't get that 45-pound weight. So,
Yeah. Also,
but,
Rage Squirrel, great name.
yeah, she got, of course, if somebody gave it to her. Speaking of shields, I actually made sure I had one standing by. This guy
Oh, wow.
is from China. My birthday twin, as we call it. We were both born on October 20th. But he's from Gaopeng. Every year we give each other some gift when we meet up. But yeah, that's the most recent gift from him was this big old shield. But it's a fun Chinese style shield and all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty neat experience. So,
And Laurence, was your entry into DragonCon through Palmetto Knights, or were you aware of the con beforehand?
I've been going off and on to the con since the 90s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Do you remember your first one?
Huh?
Do you remember your first one?
I think it was 97 or 98. That's about all I can easily tell you. It was I was in the military stationed in Virginia Beach. A couple of my buddies were like, "Hey, there's this crazy party thing you can go do in Atlanta. Let's go do it for a weekend." We went there.
Gotcha.
That was it.
And the history was made, right?
Yep. Then it was off and on from then on. So
very nice. Very nice. What is it do you think about DragonCon? I mean, you guys do other events, right? And at other conventions,
yes.
you guys participate with other conventions too, right?
Not much. There's very little other convention environments. Everybody was doing conventions more. When I say everybody, I'm referring to I'm going to refer to like USA, organization wise. USA, everybody was doing conventions quite a bit at first, and then we've kind of all stopped. It's the combination of the event has to be kind of worth it, if that makes sense. And DragonCon gives us that wonderful super adventure experience. Like everybody in the USA and a lot of people around the world, like they dream of coming to fight at DragonCon.
Oh, wow.
Because it's
that's
cool experience. It's a different experience. Like,
well, it's also you're hosting the Dragons Cup.
Right. We have the Dragons Cup, which is an actually ranked tournament and all that kind of stuff. But it's more than just that. It's at DragonCon, we get to be in a small room. Well, that's not a small room. It's a big ballroom. But then we have thousands of us, thousands of the con, around us. And you get the fight and you get that roar and that cheer and all the excitement and all the intensity of the crowd. Whereas when we're at like in Serbia, we had 60,000 people in the stands watching us fight. Super cool. You did not get the vibe that you got from DragonCon, because when those people were all roaring, you could barely hear it. It was 100 yards away, and it was just a vague noise off in the distance. But
when you're not in the AC either.
Yeah, and the AC. Oh my gosh, the AC. The AC. We're literally wearing oven mitts.
Yeah,
like we're basically putting on an oven mitt and then putting on armor. Yeah, the AC is wonderful. But the crowd environment, like literally the con goers, is what makes it so awesome to be at the con. Like it always, like that's the thing. Like, because it's when that roar comes through, you get this chill coming through you. It's just, it's amazing.
So tell us a little bit more about the Dragons Cup, because I know you do multiple days of competition. You have different matches. Is this something like explain the different matches? Is the event? Is this everybody's already signed up to compete before con? Are they signing up at con? Or
so typically people are signing up to compete within a week of the last con ending. It's almost as bad as doing the hotels. Yeah. It's a little bit more wiggle room, but it's nearly as bad as trying to get a hotel room. So with people signing up almost immediately, and I always let the people who were previously at the tournament to be at the tournament to sign up first. And then it goes out to a wider audience. And then when I hit my capacity of 60 competitors, I then close it down. And then 3 months later, I open it up. Well, I check and see who's dropped, because of course someone drops, and and keep cycling it through. But so on Saturday, we have panels that we do on Friday and Sunday, but the actual main competition is on Saturday only. We open the day with a duels tournament, and it's based on gender. And then, when you're in the male category or the female category, whatever gender from those two. And there's like this year, I believe we're going to do men's longsword. And we're going to have, we're going to be able to do 10 competitors this year for that time frame. So 10 competitors are going to be duking it out in longsword. And longsword is it's a two-handed sword. I know D&D says it's a one-handed sword. It's a two-handed sword. But either way, so you have long swords, which everybody's competing with relatively the same size sword. And they fight for 2 1-minute rounds, and they try to hit each other more than they hit the other get hit. Blocking shots, throwing shots, etc. You have a set of judges who rank and score that, and then at the end of the rounds, they take an average, and that's who wins that round or that match. And then we also are going to be doing buckler. We're mostly going to do a women's longsword and a women's buckler tournament. Buckler is a little bit different. You actually use a smaller sword. It's a true sword. It's an arming sword. Like, it's not a short sword or a dagger. It's an arming sword, which is still like 3 feet long. But you use an arming sword, and then you use a small shield, which we call a buckler, which basically is the size of like a dinner plate. And it's actually regulated. It's only allowed to be about that big. It's 35 centimeters, which is like 14, 15 inches. Yeah. So maybe a large pizza. But in that, you don't fight for a minute straight and seeing how much you can hit. You fight to the first person who hits the other person 5 times. And you do a 2 out of 3 match. So sometimes those are just 2 rabid monkeys just wailing at each other as fast as they can. And other times it's a very elegant, precise, tactical fight. It can go either way. Like, you never know what's going to happen. And like you'll watch a fighter who's elegant one round and then berserker the next round. You're just like, oh, okay. And we'll be doing those tournaments. And then when those tournaments finish, then we'll go into what we call the group fights. Group fights is 5 versus 5 normally, depending on turnout, things like that. We're a little low on women's sign up for that category. So we're hoping to we have 2 women's teams right now. We're hoping to get a 3rd women's team signed in. We'll see how it works out. With the men's teams, though, I think we have 6 or 7 different teams wanting to compete, but they got to only be 5. That's all I have time for. And 5s is 5 people are on the field at the time. You have 8 people on your team, so you have 3 alternates you can bring in between rounds. And you have to make the other team touch the ground with anything other than their feet. So if they trip and fall, you throw them down, you beat them until they don't want to stand. They want to touch the ground. There's a variety of ways you can make them hit the ground. And you make them hit the ground, and then they're out of the fight, whatever method that is. It's
I want
fun,
that to be
crazy.
the sigil. I want that to be the sigil if we have our team. Beat them until they hit the ground.
I think we found a new sport that the mongoose can participate in.
Oh, dear Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying something along.
We can try and work it out. So then the last segment of the day is we do a variety of different style matches. This one's a little bit more exhibition style. There's a couple like weird things we do. One of the ones is actually a very historic style fight. We call it the dragon fight. And so we 3D print a dragon skull that we mount on the fighter's helmet. And then we, with resin 3D print discs about that big that are on their forearms. They're on their thighs. And that's it, just 4 discs. And you fight to break the disc. You're not fighting to hit the person. You're fighting to break the disc or the dragon helm. And then whoever loses all their discs, all their items first is the loser. Sometimes that fight drags on and on. It's a very fun, entertaining entertaining category.
Did they have to lose the dragon head too?
Yep.
Yep.
It's got to
Oh,
be
wow.
broken off their head.
Oh, wow.
Can't just fall off. It has to be like, we'll remount it if it's not truly broken, and keep it going until it breaks apart. It's a heck of a lot of fun. And straight enough, like the one year we were giving away prizes and like, come pick your prize up. And everybody was picking up scraps of the dragon skull and stuff like that. So we were like, okay, didn't expect to throw away trash as a gift, but all right. But it was cool because they wanted it. So then the next one we did, then you also have a thing called Pro Fights or Outtrance. That's the other thing that happens during this segment. And Outtrance is, which translates to without limit. It is a one-on-one fight, and it's basically a full-blown MMA match. But you have to have a weapon, and you have to be in armor. So it's a sword fight, but they're throwing, kicking, putting the guys on the ground and beating each other on the ground. The whole 9 yards, everything goes. And they can get, you can't get pinned, but you can kind of get a submission can be done to you. We have special rules for submission because we can't see that you're going, oh God, my arm's breaking. You know, all right. And I am getting a low battery warning. So let me, of course, what can I do to fix this real quick? There we go. So either way, let's keep going. That was surprising. I was way above 50%, and all of a sudden it dropped to 5. Must have a bad cell.
Technology.
We can do that. We can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I could also pull another computer out.
We can drain the battery.
Yeah.
So I imagine that means that there's blood sometimes.
Sometimes. We actually don't get hurt. Statistically, we don't take injuries any worse than the typical than like soccer.
Well, I guess I mean more in the specific Outrance event. If you say it's like an MMA.
Say again?
I guess I mean more specifically like in the Outrance, because you said that's more like a all-out MMA type melee.
Yeah, we actually don't take that bad injuries in that. It's kind of like what we get is like you might get brow cuts because if your helmet's not properly mounted, this is why we don't like loaner gear.
Yeah,
it'll hit and like your helmet will bounce off your forehead or it might hit your jaw. You know, and sometimes just things go wrong. Like in Spain, my chin strap slid off, and then I was wearing it like a bridle. Like a horse bridle, you know, the piece of leather that's supposed to hold my helmet on. I had it in my mouth, biting onto it, going, you know, as I'm getting, you know, goofy things like that happen. So,
wow.
But more often than not, we don't take any severe injuries. Oh, and my lady brought the actual power cord.
Excellent.
To the rescue.
and right, look, it looks like right when his he hits server. All right, well, we'll wait for him to plug in and get back with us. But in the meantime, let me pop the event page for the Dragon Cup. There is an event page up for the Dragons Cup 2025 event at DragonCon already. That is going to be held on Saturday, August 30th. It starts at 9 a.m. No, that's Central Time. It starts at 10 a.m. It looks like. Y'all are Eastern, right? Yeah.
Yes,
It's 10 a.m. So
sorry about the delay.
No, it's all right. We're
Yes. Oh, we just hear the voice of God. We don't see
you're blacked out. Your video is not on right now.
There you go.
Is it back now?
Back.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, you're back.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So Saturday, August 30th at 10 a.m. at the Cortland Grand Hotel is where you can catch the Dragon Cup 2025, folks. I was stalling for you.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
good
I
job.
appreciate it. It was
You were
awkward.
filling air. You were filling the air.
But on injury sense, though, as I said, we don't take a whole lot of them. Typically, it's usually equipment is poorly made or not prepped properly. But there are weird accidents that happen. I don't know if the lighting's going to be good for this guy. Probably is not showing up well.
Yep.
Here, let me.
For those of you listening to the audio version, he is highlighting his arm.
You might see a scar down my
Mhm.
forearm.
Okay.
Oh, I see it now.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So that, funnily enough, was in an Altrans fight, but it wasn't me fighting. It was so as a referee, as a marshal, when you're working that job, you, especially in an Altrans fight, when the fight goes to the ground, you have to get close to watch the fighter's eyes inside the helmets. And so I got in close to make sure I could see what's going on. And somehow the guy who was on the bottom shifted, did this little spin thing, and flipped and threw the other guy through the air. So the joke is that Brett hit me with Brant. You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
he
you literally got hit
did
with the
though. I mean,
person.
he literally chucked him through the air, and I was like, "Oh God!" and ran backwards. So I got hit by him flipping through the air and smacking my arm and like shattered bones and all sorts of fun stuff. But that's the worst injury I took, and it wasn't while I was fighting. It was while I was being a referee. So,
Moving on to the weapons y'all use in the duels and all that. So how does that work with weapon security at con? Like, is everyone having to get their swords piece bound or get the little tag put on the sword so that they know, it's been checked out? Because I know
so we don't actually carry our weapons around the con.
Right.
Okay.
So they don't get checked because we're not taking them anywhere.
Right.
And I'm actually afraid of what I'm saying now because I might get in trouble. But either way, let's find out. I mean, so I'm aware of the piece binding and stuff like that, and we tell the guys if you're going to walk around your armor and you want to carry your sword, you need to go by security. We tell them what they're supposed to do. But no, we don't do any of that. Just like most of the other big panels, things like that, we load in before the con even starts.
Right.
And we have an area that we set everything in. And it all gets put in place and all that kind of stuff. And it's there till we do our shows. And then it goes right back to that spot. So it keeps it out of, so we don't get anything piece bound or anything like that because it's all in a secure place.
Yeah. It's not walking around in the general public area.
Yes. Yeah. We don't have them. I mean, not that they're honestly, a lot of the cosplay weapons are sharper than anything we were walking around with. All our stuff's dulled on purpose, because that would make it way less pleasant when the armor doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you mentioned swords, you mentioned shields. What else? I think I saw some video. Somebody had, what was it, like the flail? I feel like there's some. It's more than just swords in these things sometimes, isn't it?
So the different categories like draw what's the more effective weapons, and there we have, some of our rules kind of force certain weapons to come into play. Like for example, except for Outtrance, you're not allowed to grab the blade of your sword. All right. So in most of the group fighting, like the 5 versus 5 and stuff like that, you'll carry a small axe, like just 2 foot long axe, or you might carry a 4 foot long axe or a 7 foot long axe. But when you carry a small, an axe the same size as a sword, because you can grab it and then you can use it for leverage and grapple and stuff like that, or double hand swing it. There's a bunch of different options, and I guess I'm getting stuff like small axe.
Oh, nice, nice.
So
you have a great assistant.
From Ukraine. This Age of Craft built this one. And so like as I was saying, I can do this, and when I do this, I can put that around your head, etc. I can lock it around your arm, places like that, and I can manipulate you to the ground easier. Plus the firepower of just swinging that into somebody. But if we want a lot more firepower, you'll have a big axe like this. So.
Right.
Whoa.
So it almost looks like it might be taller than you.
This one, no,
Okay.
not taller than me, but
Almost.
it's a big axe.
Okay, it's probably taller than me then.
I will say for anybody who's listening, Lawrence just had 2 axes handed to him almost as if Thor was summoning Mjolnir, his hammer. And one of the axes looks like someone took an oar from a boat and put an axe head on it. That was about how long it was. So
They look like large medieval can openers.
yes, exactly.
Exactly.
And the can is a person.
Built for. So you have the different
Lawrence-
axes like that, which are highly popular in the melees. Now the problem is, in a hafted weapon, your opponent can grab 2. So I swing that axe at you, and let's say you take the hit, and you're like, okay, cool. And now you grab that axe. And now we're wrestling over this axe, but if I swung a sword at you, you can't grab the sword due to the rules.
What about maces?
Yes, we use maces. The big problem with maces, I love this phrasing that one of the Eastern Europeans said, is maces are, everything has a weight limit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, according to how big it is, it has to have the head of the weapon has to be so big according to how long it is, and then everything has a weight limit according to its different sizes. There's these windows they have to fit in. Maces are in these they're lighter. It's the lightest weapon we use.
Mm-hmm.
But a mace is a blunt instrument.
Right.
Like a normal mace is a blunt smash you thing. So I loved how Eastern Europeans, they were like, yeah, we can't humanize a mace. Like, you can humanize a sword, you can humanize an axe, but you can't humanize a mace. So they dropped the weight of the maces to make them like, here's a mace.
Oh, wow.
And all these little stickers, those are inspection stickers that verify them for safety. We're PG-13 here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. An inspection sticker. I don't know if it's readable or not.
No, not readable. I see blue. I could see.
Yeah, the blue is what I was trying. Bummer.
Yeah.
So either way, it's an amusing sticker. That's what I'm gonna go with. It has a pair of sports on it.
Somebody on our YouTube might be able to zoom in and figure that out.
Zoom and enhance.
I'm gonna not say, just in case. But either way, you have all those little stickers are inspection stickers, and a lot of fighters and competitors want to leave all their inspection stickers on there because it's where all the swords been or where all the weapons been to all these events. And most events use specialized stickers to hype their event, so you have the memory of it better.
I'm gonna guess there's no flails.
Yeah, no flails because we can't control them.
Right. Kind of same as like nunchucks.
Yeah, they'll bounce around and do weird things. We don't need, and it's the same thing. Like we've had people lose helmets in the middle of a fight. Your helmet comes off. If I'm swinging an axe and something happens and your helmet comes off, I can make the axe go in a different direction, or I can stop, or I can whatever. I can't stop that flail. I can't stop a chain weapon. Stop a whip weapon.
A chain could break and the flail could just fly into the audience. You never.
Right. Yeah, things like that can happen sometimes at places. Actually, I love to give a shout out to this guy. So 2 years back, we had netting around. We always have netting that we set up at the con, and we had netting that every time we tested it, it stopped anything we threw at it. We didn't plan for the scenario that happened here, though, because we were throwing weapons at it, just weapons. So a guy hit another guy in the head really, really hard, and just the head of the axe came off.
Oh,
like not the whole half, just the head, nothing else. Like it literally broke at the very tip, and it shot out into the crowd. And unfortunately, the netting didn't stop it, and it hit the guy in the chest. And he was in pain, is a polite way to phrase it. He wasn't injured. We would define injuries as you have to go to the hospital.
Right. So he probably had a bruise.
Yes, he had a bruise. Yeah. The following year, he shows up to the event with a cosplay of the axe sticking out of his chest.
Yes, that's a
So
good
he was a really
sport.
good champ there, you know.
That's a good
Wow.
sport.
Solid dude. It was very cool.
Yeah, that's how you get cults named after you. Really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. We were
to the flying axe head.
Exactly.
we were
Exactly.
definitely worried.
That's
But yeah.
that's
So
so.
you said you not only compete and do exhibitions at Dragon Con, you do it at other events as well, and you have not only people from the U.S. participating, also people from all around the country, world. What are some of the traditions you have when you meet up with these different groups that you do all these events with?
Yeah. So there's a variety of fun things that happen at different events. Like some events have exact moments. Like the World Championships, one of the big ones we love to do, like I love to do, I'll be very clear, but a lot of people pile in for it, is we tell everybody to bring their junk food or their fun drinks or their interesting drink or whatever it may be. And it's always a very creative experience. Usually Americans have the scariest junk food, but sometimes, some other countries have something, they have interesting food or good food. We have junk food.
Right.
Like the one year we brought Peeps and everyone was like, what the hell is a Peep? Like they were just dumbfounded. They loved them, but they were all like, what is this thing?
Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, us too. But the other fun one was somebody asked for Pop-Tarts in advance. And so then I went into a Walmart and then live streamed and was like, which one? And they thought there was like strawberry.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like they had no concept that there was thousands of Pop-Tarts. So you have funny things like that. Then you also have really interesting drinks. Like I was introduced to a drink called Rakia. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Rakia.
Never.
That's a new one.
It's a plum brandy.
Mm.
I'm on
But
board.
it's different is the best word for it. Well, it's volatile is really what it is. It's like brutal. Like there's Manischewitz or
Yeah.
This is rougher than that on going down. So I'm not exactly sure why people like it, but I liked it nonetheless.
It could be one of those, if you grow up with it, like look at a lot of the people who go through Chicago and are like, they think nothing of drinking Malort, but the part of the fun is getting people who have never had it to drink it and watching the look on their face.
Exactly. That is very accurate. But you had these fun things like Rakia. And now Rakia has a fun tie-in for me when it comes to DragonCon. There was a particular panel that was an unofficial panel where you had to bring a cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh, we got to figure out some cocktails to make, so we wanted to not bring a cocktail that was known. We wanted to make our own. So at the house, we're sitting here pulling out all these different liquors, and I'm like, oh, my bottles of Rakia that I took, and I was experimenting with that. And we tried whiskey sour with this volatile plum brandy. Okay. And I say volatile because like almost no one can drink it. Like me and one other guy that I've met can drink it straight. Other than the Serbians, they could drink it, no problem. But we mixed the whiskey sour with it, and it turned into this like elderflower flavor drink, which is like some crazy chemical reaction happened because
it was alchemy.
Yeah, it completely changed its flavor. It was very like, what the heck just happened? It was very neat.
Okay, so with that cocktail, what did the people at that unofficial panel think?
Oh, they all loved it. They were amazed by it. And when we explained it's a plum brandy, they were like, "What? No, it's not." Like no one believed it was a plum brandy, as a base. And then when we said, "Yeah, we put whiskey sour in it," and they were like, "No, like because it doesn't taste like whiskey sour and it doesn't taste like a plum brandy after you put those two together." It was completely new experience.
Yeah, whatever was in the sour canceled out the brutalness of the plum brandy.
Yeah, it smoothed it out, and it was really neat. But hopefully I'll have more for this year. Because when I go to Visegrad this summer, I'm told I have 6 bottles set aside for me already.
Very nice.
So that'll be interesting. And
as far as DragonCon goes, do you because I would imagine for the whole weekend you're pretty busy inside of the competition and everything that you've got set up there. Do you get a chance to do anything else? Is there anything else about Dragon Con that you just can't miss besides, the things that you're doing yourself for the Palmetto Knights?
Yeah, I always, let's see here. I'm trying to remember the exact setup. So Thursday, we usually try to hit there's usually an 80s theme party
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. It's
Yeah.
lately it's been popping up. So we usually try to hit that. And then we go to the Vortex after that and get dinner,
Nice.
or whatever time it ends up being.
Why do you go to the downtown one or to the 5 points? Okay.
And then after then Friday, I got panels earned today. I'm usually too busy dealing with that to get to go do anything during the day. And Friday night, I try to get near Trader Vic's or in Trader Vic's.
You know what the key? You know what the key to that is? It's going Thursday during Drunken Dragon's party.
No, you don't understand. It has
You
to
get
be
to
Friday
go,
night.
but you get to, that is at night.
No, Friday night.
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday night's
Okay.
key.
Well, still the trick is going through the patio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't take the elevator.
right. So we get there, because if you're outside in the lobby area down there, you can still go in and order drinks and then drink there. What I do is I tell all the fighters they have to come to it. Like they have to come down there. So like 10 o'clock at night, there's going to be a bunch of the people who are going to be competing the next day there. And I blow about $300 getting them all drunk.
So that everybody is nice and hungover when it's time to start sweating in their armor.
And swinging an axe. Swinging an axe.
Wait, are you competing against these people?
No,
Right.
Okay.
I'm just supervising the event.
Okay.
I'm just making it rough for them. So it's usually only the new guys who get tricked, and the other guys come down that just be around. Like, oh man, Larry's buying his drinks. He's buying his drinks. He's buying his drinks. So they're all thrilled. They just keep on coming with more pitchers of alcohol. And
Well, now
Then
you
they have
gotta
to be up
hope that
at
none of
8
your
a.m. and
you gotta
get
hope none of
ready.
your new guys watch this episode.
Right.
Oh, they hear about it, but they think they're going to be okay. And
Oh
then
yeah, I think that's how everybody is when it comes to tiki drinks. They're like, "Oh, I drink. I can handle
Right.
this."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there's a reason a lot of them say maximum of 2
Right.
on the
Exactly.
menu.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you were doing panels as well. Is that something that you guys sponsor or do through other tracks?
So far, we pretty much only do track. Like when we were with the Armory, when that was around, we did a bunch of panels with them. Like, we did like 40 panels a day. It was insane. And then obviously not 40. It's impossible, but it was crazy. But now we only do 2 panels on Friday. We do 2 panels on Sunday. There are panels. We gladly will support other venues who want to do panels, who want us. Because we're armorers, we have guys who build armor. I build armor. We do all sorts of interesting things: martial arts, storybooking, all kind of fun stuff.
What track are you doing your panels under?
We are special events.
Oh, special events. Okay.
Yeah, we're special events all the way around.
That's
nowadays.
what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, we're special events. But I would love to be a part of. Like, we would love to support anybody who wants us.
As
Thinks they might
Well,
use
so
them,
especially for making armor. I mean, that'd be great for the costuming track.
Yeah, and how we mount it and make it work and move, and seeing how real armor moves versus how costume armor moves. There's a lot of neat things where we could share our knowledge,
right?
And our experiences. I believe
that opens up a question that I have for you regarding. So, how much attention is given to historical accuracy as opposed to like, oh, this is like competitive, this is what we need in order to compete safely?
So that's a fun one. We actually have a department in our organization called the Authenticity Committee, and they review your armor and tell you if it's good enough or not, and then tell you what you have to fix.
But good enough to be historical.
Good enough to be historic.
Okay. Yeah.
So to give a background of where the sport came from. And the sport's been moving farther and farther away from this. The sport started in the 90s with a bunch of Eastern Europeans who were doing reenactments. And they want to fight versus play fight. That's basically how the sport came into existence. So it was reenactors wanting to get more violent. And then as they had to get more violent, they had to get better armor and so on and so on. And this evolved just like actual warfare did. And so there's been an evolution of the sport. We actually are a sport now, like with proper regulations. We actually check equipment, all that kind of fun stuff. But more often than not, some people are as good as their armor could be sitting in a museum and the museum curator would be thrilled with it. Other people are baseline, bottom of what we would, the lowest tier of authenticity we can be. But everything that somebody's wearing, maybe not at Dragon Con, because Dragon Con, we let some craziness happen. Like things that aren't totally historically accurate, but they're cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is somebody showing up like from the future armor?
We had one of the guys. He hasn't come lately. He had a suit of armor done up to look like Shepard. Shepard's the name of
yeah,
Normandy.
from Halo.
Nope.
No, not that Shepard.
You don't mean Shepard Book, do you?
No.
Not
Okay,
a Book's not wearing armor.
I'm just making sure.
They flew around in the Normandy. Mass Effect.
Oh, Mass Effect.
Okay.
Yeah,
The Mass Effect armor. The guy had a Mass Effect suit that was built to be safe for the sport.
gotcha.
Wow.
Which is super fun. But it has to be safe for the sport. But we'll let you, like, the one of the girls' teams, the Dallas Mythics. The Dallas Mythics, they put Sisters of Battle cosplay armor on top of their armor and fought. And Sisters of Battle being a 40K thing, which is your eyes all acted like you didn't recognize. So.
No, it's Warhammer, right?
Yeah,
Warhammer.
Yeah. So they all did these Warhammer cosplays.
I was my eyes went wide because I was thinking of the weight of regular armor combined with the weight of a Warhammer costume.
Right.
It's like, why would you do that to yourself?
Right.
It's cool and it's Dragon Con.
It's like that meme from Pimp My Ride. Hey, we heard you like armor, so we put armor on your armor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if a single one of those kits lasted more than like a fight, because the cosplay armor was not built to withstand, axes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, was it made out of foam? Was it made out of
all
Warbler?
EVA.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in this room, there's some EVA. There's some pieces of it left. But yeah,
That's all that's left.
But it was EVA, the rubber mat foam shape to look like it, and then they painted the skulls and stuff like that on it. Like they made it like in a weekend. It wasn't. Yeah, it's not a costume contest worthy outfit.
So
if there's
go for it, Jim.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, speaking of the teams, can you tell us some more about some of the teams that are? Because I know the Knights of Wakanda, because some of them are in one of my other group. But what are some of the other teams that usually participate?
One thing I want to hype though is Knights of Wakanda. They were formed and founded at Dragon Con.
Okay.
Just to be clear, like that was actually the only place they ever competed at until last year. Last year they competed at my other event, Carolina Carnage, which is the biggest event that happens in the world.
Nice.
Well, except for when World Championships happen, then it's the biggest non-World Championship event. So yes, we have the Awesome Possums, which is Palmetto Knights fighting team. And you'll notice them they usually have possums with them. They usually put squeakers in their armor. So when you hit them, they squeak, the dog squeakers. They wear tabards that are tire tracks going across.
Like roadkill.
Like roadkill.
Yeah.
Some possums, and then you have Atlanta Valor. Atlanta Valor, every year, they usually have a different outfit they choose to wear at Dragon Con. A couple of years ago, they did cat girls. They all came out in French-made cat girl outfits on their armor. So Atlanta Valor, which is the home team, but they don't have the organizational structure. But and then Knights of Wakanda, obviously Knights of Wakanda theme. They have cool tabards to fit the theme and everything, and they always have at least one white wolf in their lineup. So
gotta keep it interesting.
Yeah. So they. Those are the three that you always see. Like they've been coming the con. They come to the con every year, no matter what. Everyone else kind of fluctuates. This year, we are supposed to have a team from Ohio coming down. They're the Rust Knights, I believe, is their name right now. I feel like they change their names too often for me to keep track. For the women, we have the River Sirens coming down out of Cincinnati. And then we have a more masked, because like most combat sports, there's not as many women as there's men. So sometimes the women's teams have to be like made from an entire region versus just a local area. And so I believe the Chaos Cryptids are also supposed to be coming down. Those are the two women's teams we're expecting right now. We're hoping for a third. And then for the men's teams, we got a team out of Colorado that's possibly coming. I've not been told what name they're using this year for the con, that is. But I believe we got a crew coming from the Colorado area. And if not them, then probably the Florida team is coming and filling in to be the fifth team.
So
go ahead.
If you're still naming teams, go for it.
I was going to say the Florida team is like they have like 4 or 5 different clubs across Florida. And the clubs, when they come together to fight at a bigger event, they refer to their team as the Florida Men.
The most dangerous team of all.
Right. Figured you guys would enjoy that one.
So for either the people who are watching this episode or the people who come watch the fights, if they want to start being able to participate, like how do people go about that? Do they try? Is there a specific organization they should look up? Do they try to find something in their own local area? What would you suggest to people who are interested?
So we have medievalcombat-usa.com is the national organization for USA. And so from there, you can reach out, you can contact there, and they should be able to aim you at the local club. Or you can go to Palmetto Knights. As I said, we're on everything, palmettoknights.com and every social media aspect. Shoot us a message. We will link it to whatever you want. We can, send you to wherever you're going and all that kind of fun stuff. We can definitely keep you connected. So.
That's awesome.
Is this something that for the people who are maybe interested, what type of commitment are people looking at?
Depends on the club.
Should they? Should they be in good shape?
Well, I mean, I competed at World Championships multiple times, and I'm not in good shape. I was in better shape then, but I was not in good shape back when I was actively competing. It's harder to make the World Championship team now because there's a lot more of us competing. But you don't need to be in good shape. Actually, a panel we've done in the past at DragonCon was Couch to Conan, and we actually taught not the how to deadlift. We taught the how to get to the point where you might be able to deadlift. Kind of.
Well, because I imagine it's using everything. Well, having armor or swinging around a sword, that's not exactly going to translate to particular weight machines at the gym. It's could be using some different muscle groups.
Yeah, different kind of workout.
Different range of motion.
Yes. Yeah. So you have typically any sports training program is going to be good. And then you just do the additional training at your events, etc., to make it, at your specific practices to get better. But people, like we tell everyone, go take judo lessons or sambo lessons, or like you're going to train some martial art, and you should come to the fighting practices, and you should be working out regularly, and you should be running 5Ks, and those are. You don't have to do that to begin with.
Right.
We'll get you there. At that same time, though, there are some clubs who have no intention of competing at the top end. So they're just happy that you showed up and you want to swing a stick at somebody. So there's a whole dynamic. It's like Palmetto Knights. We're mid to bottom. in the competition world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're mid to bottom, so we might be like, hey, I know you haven't worked out in 3 months, but we'll still take you on the team this weekend if you want to come. You know, so whereas the Warlords, they'd be like, hey, you missed last 3 practices in the last 2 days, you know, kind of thing. So, like they're training 3 times a week, you know,
So
at minimum.
some groups are there to compete and win, and some groups are there to have fun and get the experience.
Yes.
Just like with anything.
Yeah.
Right. There's all scales, and Dragon Con's considered one of the more fun events versus one of the more ultra competition events. Now we are the Altrance and the duels are serious competition elements, but the group fights are more casual at Dragon Con.
Gotcha. Are there?
I think. Go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead, Jenny.
No, I was gonna say, I think being out of shape actually helps with the historical accuracy part. Because I mean, did they have like Bowflexes and free weights and protein powder and all back in the medieval times?
No, they had to walk. It took them 60 days to walk somewhere. They were in shape. No, they were walking all the time, carrying heavy stuff.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure they were like walking and traveling, but it wasn't like they were like, all right, we got to go out and hit the gym for 8 or 9 hours a day, and it probably wasn't show muscle. That's what I'm getting at. They probably weren't like ripped and cut like the Spartans. They're probably beefy, burlier guys.
You're probably right on not being cut, but we actually can reference historic manuals where they drew out the whole workout routine. Like there's a whole like 13th century, here's how you work out to be a knight kind of thing. And then it writes out like step by step what you need to be doing. So at least based on that manuscript, if we assume that's been doing elsewhere, they actually did like work out. You got to go to the gym 4 hours a day. Like they actually were doing that for the professional soldiers. Obviously.
And they were having fight training. We know that.
Yeah.
So funny enough, they possibly were. So
new cosplay idea: a medieval fitness influencer. I need someone to make that happen. Anybody who's listening.
Or medieval Homer Simpson.
Yes.
I know the guy. Derek Flitcroft. I think he's coming to the con this year. He loves to run around in his armor the whole time. He'd be perfect for being the influencer. Medieval influencer thing. I'm gonna have to throw that at him as an idea.
I know that we're fast approaching the time frame where it's too early, but it's also maybe too late. You're already behind on doing things for the con. Is there anything that you are particularly excited about this year at this year's convention for the Palmetto Knights?
A particular special thing, honestly, man, should have one of my new guys on instead of me for that question. So sorry.
It's all flat by now. I don't care.
It's kind of one of those like I've been doing this. I'm grizzled and tired. I always am excited about going to the con and experiencing like my big thing for going to the con. What I love about coming in and doing these events is I bring in people from around the country, sometimes the world, come in for this event, and I get to take them around the con. I get to go around the con with them, show them what the con's like, show them all the fun things that are available. And like Saturday night, we try to hit the goth party that usually goes on Saturday night after we sleep after the fighting. So we get to sleep for like 4 hours and then get up and go out after we fight. Or like Crew Shadows on Sunday night. There's certain things we always do, but I love the bringing the new people in, bringing whoever is coming in that hasn't been to the con before, and showing them how much fun they can have. Because like a lot of times we have competitors come in just for Saturday, and they do Saturday, and then they're like, there's a whole lot going on here. I want to see more. And I was like, I tried to tell you to buy the weekend pass. I tried to tell you to buy the big pass, not the 1 day, and they regret it. Like they always regret it, like, and
That's
Yeah,
what we tell
I-
people. Get the whole weekend. Get the whole weekend.
I would regret just having to come in on a Saturday. God, with that crowd and trying to get settled and
Oh no, and we sit there and say, hey, you got to be there at 8 a.m. and you got to drop your armor off at this spot. We'll have people waiting for you to grab your armor. Then you got to go find a place to park, and then you got to haul butt over here as fast as you can.
and by the way, half the streets will be closed because there's a parade.
Yes, yes,
Correct.
no, and it's great because it's Saturday morning, it's about to be showtime, and we're like, and I'm sitting there trying to verify that we got match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all lined up, and they'll be like, match 4, nobody's seen him yet. We don't know if he's going to be here or not. And then it's like, do I replace him? Not replace him? How much time do I got left? Yeah, so
I'm guessing since your event starts at 10, then y'all are not in the parade, correct?
Correct. We did the parade twice, and then we said never again.
Again, it goes back to that walking and getting in shape part.
I was going to say, yeah.
Or walking and having the sun bearing down on you and metal armor.
That wonderful Atlanta heat and humidity.
Yeah, and you're sitting in that parking garage out in the sun waiting for the parade to start for 3 hours, beforehand. It's just too much.
That's pretty
too much.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's a lot of room for the little inner fans that we can put in Star Wars uniforms and stuff.
Yeah. We could, but it would if you forget it's in there and then you take a big hit, then it shatters, and now you have this lithium fire thing going on that you're strapped into.
Can you have some squires march with the knights, but the squires' whole job is to fan them and spray little misters in their visors?
Wait, how are they gonna do the fan when they're busy doing coconuts?
Right.
The sound effects.
There had to be a Python joke somewhere. Come on.
Yeah.
I did have something about the crowds. So I think when we were talking before this, you mentioned that you guys normally have pretty good turnout. One is how involved does the crowd get? Do they have specific sections and all? And two, for those people that can't make it in, are you all on DragonCon TV or any kind of streaming?
Normally DragonCon TV is broadcasting us, and they do repeat broadcasts of us. We also, Palmetto Knights, stream the event, but our signal isn't going to be as good as DragonCon TV's signal is going to be.
Are you streaming it on your Facebook or your
usually
website?
Send it to our Facebook because that usually gets the best feedback. But we usually go to our Facebook and stuff like that. So we're pushing that out. Those are ways you can watch it if you can't get in, and we do sometimes have a big line outside waiting to come in. What was the other part of the question?
Oh, just asking.
Yes, about streaming and
the crowd involvement. They get behind these different teams.
Yes, we have had one. The crowd recognizes specific fighters who've been coming for years and stuff like that. Like people recognize Rage Squirrel. She after her duels fights, she came off and sat down in the crowd, and there was a group of people who already had a space set up for her. So she was sitting on the floor and being fed grapes and being fanned and all that stuff. So she was like, "This is awesome. I have a fan club." Then we have Knights of Wakanda. We have a crew of guys who show up, who are con-goers who made their own Wakanda tabards and all that kind of fun stuff. Last year there was a group of possums who showed up. People did the whole possum outfits and everything and had a bunch of fun stuff for the possums. And so yes, we actually have a fan base at the con who actually cosplay us, for lack of a better word. And then there's also a level of the con has their favorites. I recognize people year after year come in and all that kind of fun stuff. And as I said, they'll chant various names of various fighters and all that during the fight. It's really a neat experience for everyone.
I like it.
It sounds like a very cool experience overall. I am blown away here because, to be honest with you, I didn't, it's one of the aspects of the convention that I hadn't really dipped my toe much into at all. I had no idea. To me, and it's amazing to me, just the simple fact that you guys are it's actual competition. It's not a pre-scripted like pro wrestling or something you would see at medieval times. It's like you guys are taking it to a whole different level, which is just outstanding to me.
Well, to be fair, you're stuck in the vendor hall, so
Well,
you
true.
don't-
No.
you can't really get over there to see it.
Well, that's like there's years I don't make it to the vendor hall. Like I
Yeah.
want to go to the vendor hall and I just don't. I don't make it. I can't get there.
Yeah.
And there's also what is it? Like I think I went 4 years straight, never even seeing the Westin. Like
I think
not
that's
on
a lot.
purpose.
That's a lot of us.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Yeah.
But I mean, but I like the horror track. You know what I mean? Like I liked going to those things, and it kept not working out. But now it's like the court. I love the Cortland Grand or the Sheraton. For me, it's the Sheraton. But
Yep.
I love our layout. Like where we're located at is perfect. There's a garage door out back where we can literally drive our trucks in and unload the equipment and all that kind of stuff. It's awesome. But we're so far away from the con. Like we're the
You just got to learn all the shortcuts.
Yeah.
Like to me, I am 5 minutes from the Trader Vic's patio at the Sheraton. I am good.
It's
it just depends on your priorities.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I can hop upstairs from there, take the Sky Bridge over to the Marriott.
Exactly.
There's
quick,
ways
easy
to go.
hop across.
Yeah.
So this has been just mind-blowingly, like in terms of the knowledge that I have now, because this is so cool. I definitely have to see if I can figure out a way, or you guys pointed out, you can watch it on. Now I would imagine past competitions are available on DCTV if those people are subscribing to that, because I think that's available now, right?
Do they do past?
There is a DragonCon Classics section.
Okay. So there might be some fights there. Yeah. There might be. I didn't know they did like way back. I thought they only did like the previous year.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly.
I'm looking. I'm seeing if I can figure it
I don't know
out.
how far back it goes.
I know I've seen stuff from like 5 years ago.
Cool. But you can go to our YouTube or Facebook. Actually, our Facebook's pulling down all the live streams. Stupid policies.
I'll start putting it on your. Then you need.
Yeah,
you gotta
we
start
have
the
them
YouTube
on
channel.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We absolutely do have them on our YouTube channel. And we're probably going to just be direct streaming to YouTube actually in the future because of Facebook's not storing your live streams.
Oh, here we go. DCTV goes all the way back to 2008.
All right.
But some of those years, there's only one thing available.
Yeah. So anyway, we might be out on there from way back when. But yeah, we've moved. Like we used to be in the Hyatt, and we were in the International North, and then we got moved to the Hilton, and I don't remember what that ballroom was called, and then we ended up in the Sheraton, and the Sheraton was such a perfect fit. We were like, can we please stay here? Other than like it might be cool to be back in the Hyatt, like in the Centennial, but that's a lot of space.
Right.
So, and usually there's A-listers there. So during Saturday. So, but
it's very,
go ahead.
I was just about to ask you, like, so where can people find more information about what you guys are doing all year round, what you guys are doing specifically at DragonCon?
Yeah. Best place to get most of the info, we're usually pushing it out on Facebook under the event page that we have there, or Palmetto Knights in general on Facebook. That is usually where we're pushing the most information out about what we specifically are doing and what we're going to be doing at DragonCon. We kind of, every other social media, we're not great at keeping up with.
I know what that's like.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
The social media struggle is real. That's about
right. And it keeps getting bigger and crazier and more of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Like I said, it's been a huge amount of knowledge you've dropped here today for me anyway.
Yes,
so
definitely
gonna
try to make it to at least one next year. I may have to stand in the line, but I do want to see one live.
And I just checked to verify it. There is all the different rounds of the night for the fights from Dragon Con when jumping into 2023 on DCTV.
Okay,
Cool.
So go to
Cool.
DCTV, go to YouTube, and check them out and see what past performances have looked like, past competitions have looked like. I'm not going to call them performances.
It's okay. It's okay. No, we don't. We go with it because it is. We are putting on a show. We are competing for real, but it still is a show.
Yes.
In a way, because things would be ran slightly differently if it was just a comp. Like if you go to Carnage is kind of boring, but not. We have like 500 plus competitors, and it's nonstop fighting for 3 days straight, all sorts of craziness.
Gotcha.
But at no point are we even paying attention to what the crowd's doing. Like we're just fighting. Like like it's so kind of we need
Gotcha.
attention.
So with Dragon Con, there's a little bit more pageantry involved.
Yes, we try to involve the crowd more. Whereas the big events, we're just doing the event.
Awesome.
So there is an element where we're a bit more of a show, but it's a fantastic time. It's always fun. But if you guys ever have more information, or if you have a track that wants more info about anything we do or needs helpers, we got all sorts of people who do all sorts of cool things.
And then when people get to con, they'll find you under the special events in the schedule, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
And Friday, we have one of the best panels there is, in my opinion. It's called Fight Theory. Sorry, I just thought about this, and I definitely want to plug this one. And you guys will love the idea of this.
Yep.
So Fight Theory, we show you what it would be like to fight if we were fighting to actual warfare. Because we're fighting simulating medieval tournament. We're not fighting simulating warfare. Okay. So on Friday, we do a small 1 hour panel that shows you what real fighting would look like. And it's not as fun to watch, to be honest, because it's usually over before you realize it's done, or it's just, either way, not as exciting. But then after we do that, we turn around and give the audience control of the fighters. So the audience members, we do first, the audience members pick a fighter. So we ask if you pick, I want Mike to fight. And another one picks, I want Channing to fight. And then they're going to say, Mike has to fight with a dagger. And then they're going to tell Channing gets a pole arm.
So it's choose your own adventure.
And then they have them try and fight each other, with the weapons that they're given. And then it's to the death style, not sports style. And then after we do a few rounds of that, then we get even more silly. So we let the audience pick all those things again, but then the audience picks a move. So they're going to say, okay, so it's not Channing won't win because he stabs Mike. Channing has to do the moonwalk and then kick Mike in the head. And the thing is, And so then the thing is, the audience doesn't know what this audience member picked. And Mike doesn't know. I just walk up and tell Channing what he has to try to do. And then Mike gets a different goal that some audience member picks.
Gotcha.
And so then now you guys have to do this super silly things. We've had all sorts of things. We had ones where you had to sing a lullaby. We've had things where like, hey, you got to do a cartwheel. And in turn, we have guys in armor who can do cartwheels, and we have the majority of guys who cannot do cartwheels.
That's just cruel.
And there's always a little kid who says someone has to hit someone in the nuts. That always happens. You always get a little kid who's like, hit him in the nuts.
And this is why kids should be banned.
Yes. No, but it's a super fun panel. It's like if you can't make the fight panels Saturday because you have too much scheduled, hit the Friday panel to check that out.
That sounds great. That sounds great. And
good.
Yeah. And on that note, because I think Channing's enjoying the idea of stabbing me.
No, I'm just imagining I can't kick anyone in the head. I cannot. I'd have to stand on a ladder to be able to kick anyone in the head.
No, you flip over to where you're doing a handstand and use your legs that way. You do a cartwheel.
So, on that note, Laurence, thanks again for joining us. It's been really enlightening, really, really cool. I hope we get to see you in person at Dragon Con this year. But
I hope to run into you guys. Like, if you spot me, let me know, and I will react, and I'll hopefully have some interesting Palinka carried around with me the whole time.
Ooh, yes. Nothing for no other reason. That would be awesome. Well, we know you. Yeah, we know where you'll be on Friday night.
Hey, and I'm usually there Friday night too, so maybe I'll run into you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode, and we're going to draw a close to this episode of the 2025 Dragon Con Report. Thanks again, Laurence and the Palmetto Knights. Good luck this year. Big shout out to our station crew who had to have things go run. Who were running things without me for a little while, and I appreciate that. Channing, thank you so much for joining us and being here.
Oh, thanks. I think Jen was happy to have some control because, again, I think she watched part of the show where it was just the two of us and was probably very worried.
She's probably we probably would be better off if we had armor against her. I still think I'd still put money on Jen.
Yeah, exactly. She's scrappy. Good to have the team back. For anybody who wants to follow me, I am Channing Sherman on most platforms. X, Instagram, Blue Sky, although I'm trying to pivot away from one of those, you guess which one. And of course, always check out my group, the Black Geeks of Dragon Con, showcasing some of the diversity at the con. We're not a protest, we're a party. And the Knights of Wakanda, some of them are members. That's how I learned about them.
Awesome. And do you have a convention or event coming up real soon?
I just got back from Blurred Fest in New Orleans. Just got back from that one. It's a lot of fun. I'll be posting photos on my channels.
Nice. And Jen, so thankful to have you back with us.
It's good to be back. It's not easy sitting upright.
No, it is not.
It's hidden, but I still have to wear my abdominal binder for about another month, and I'm not happy about it. But I'm here sitting through the pain and smiling through it. Glad to be back. If folks need to find me, I'm not on most social media, but I am on Instagram. I am on Blue Sky at LilBitOdd. That's LILBITODD. I think that's who I am on Discord as well. Maybe it's, I don't know. A little bit. I'm a little bit. I don't use any platforms enough to remember, at least not in the past few months.
And of course, the Facebook group is happening.
Oh yes, the Dragon Con parties, meetups, and more. Again, I haven't been online. I've been recovering after getting my abdomen ripped open. Yes, Dragon Con parties, meetups, and more. Most of the admins have been pretty quiet in there. But yeah, as con gets closer and more events start getting listed, that's where you can find a schedule that we all go through when we put both the official and fan meetups and all that things we think people should go check out. And we always put the night fights on there. So
yeah, I was gonna say I'm thankful for you guys because I use that all the time to verify what's going on. It's one of the best resources.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. And just to clarify, Jen said they put the night fights, not the knife fight. That's a totally different Dragon Con event that we are not involved in.
That's another episode.
Yeah.
That's another kind of episode. All right. So we try to cover all we can with these shows that we do, but to keep up with the latest news, please check out the official Dragon Con website, all their social media outlets. All the fan tracks are active on Facebook as well, various social media outlets for them. We are a proud member of the ESO Network. On the esonetwork.com page, there's a direct link to our TeePublic store filled with all kinds of cool swag. Very cool design for the Dragon Con Report podcast. The ESO Network also has a Patreon page, where supporters can access our exclusive readings of this month's Dragon Con guest announcements. And the guest announcements are really starting to pick up. I think we went through a couple months where it was a little slow, but now I think they're starting.
You mean the way it is every year? Because that's just The way it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, patrons, for all your support. Whether you're watching or listening to us, please help us support the show. You could do so for free with a like, subscribe, a share. If you want to leave us direct feedback or comment on the show, please reach out to us at our email, feedback@dragonconreport.com. We're also available on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks to everyone for joining us. I'm your host, Mike Gordon, and it has always been my pleasure. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you at the con.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the DragonCon Report. Whether you're a longtime fan or joined us for the first time, we hope you've gained some valuable insights and tips to make your DragonCon experience unforgettable. Don't forget to stay connected for more updates and future episodes. Until next time, keep learning, keep planning, and keep the con spirit alive.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.